So welcome back to another episode of the Engineering Future Podcast. I have Girls was in Civil here with me. I wanted to do a quick episode for Hispanic Heritage Month and just bring in and learn more about what they're doing. So how are you girls doing? You want to just give us a quick introduction of what Girls in Civil is and what you guys do?
Yes, perfect. We're doing great right now.
Mhm.
So, just a little preview of what Girls in Civil is a movement to support girls interested in the construction related careers or topics. We wanted to have like a support system for other girls in the civil engineering or construction. And as our founder Sophia always says, we found ourselves at the end of our bachelor degree and a little bit lost without that guidance to know what to go and do next with it. So we wanted to have a space for other girls to ask us, what should I do? How
Mhm.
can I relate to you and what you're doing? So in our university, we have like three women professors. So it was a little bit difficult to find someone to talk to.
Mhm.
So we just wanted to have a voice to give girls a voice in the construction area.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't remember when we connected first on Instagram. I know it was a little while ago, and it's just been fun to follow the page and see everything you guys are doing with just meetups and just helping other girls and like women in engineering and doing all those things. It's just great. I think all of you are right now in the US. Do you want to touch on that transition coming from Puerto Rico all the way to the US and what that looked like?
Yes, it was such a big move, especially like for me. I moved to Virginia, so it was like a tropical island, and coming here, it was a big change. I haven't even come before going here. I met my roommate online, so it was just a big move. But I found myself learning a lot and being by myself, just having a great adventure and exploring on my own, and especially in my work. I work as a civil engineer but in the design area, so I'm learning so much that they don't teach us like on the university.
Mhm.
Like they have different standards and everything, so it has been really it's hard but it's exciting at the same time for me.
Yeah, well, hi, my name is
Mhm.
Charmelis. In my case, it was a big cultural shock because everything was different here in Texas. The
Mhm.
weather is also warm, but it's a different kind of warm.
Mhm.
So even that was different. The food was different, the people, the language, and my whole lifestyle changed as from it was in Puerto Rico. And for example, back at home, I had a car, and here I'm experiencing public transportation, which is actually a good thing because my area of interest in civil engineering is transportation. So I'm living my profession, and getting used to my master's degree was also a big change because a master's degree is very different to a bachelor's degree. There's a lot of reading, and still trying to figure everything out. But it's been quite a different and interesting
Yeah,
change.
same here for me. I just moved to Lincoln, Nebraska. So the change from a tropical island to Nebraska, it's really, really drastic. But for me, unlike Charmeli's and Jean Marie, I have never lived on my own. Have always lived in my house. I drove to the university doing my bachelor's. So moving out with such a big change for the first time was really challenging, but slowly and little by little, I managed to start adulting, quote unquote. And yeah, I have visited Nebraska before, so I was familiar with the place. I did an research experience for undergraduate 2 years ago. So coming here back to do my doctorate degree in structural engineering was like a bit familiar, but a bit unknown. So we're still getting adjusted to the climate, the culture, and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. It sounds like you three are living basically what I lived many years ago when I first moved to the US. And I think the thing with Latinos and Hispanic people is we kind of have similar stories coming from a background that we all love and understand in Puerto Rico. I'm from Colombia. I've met people from Argentina, Brazil, um, Honduras, Nicaragua, many countries in South and Central America, and I think all these stories are the same. Just the struggle with the culture when we first come to US, and trying to learn a new language a lot of times. And I don't think we all learn English very well when we're back at home. I study at South Dakota State University, which is really close to Lincoln, Nebraska, and yeah, the weather is just horrible during the winter. It's really really cold. The culture is completely different, and it was just a complete different experience. So one of the things that I talked about in a previous episode is I've been involved with many organizations with ASE and EWB and such, but once I joined SHAPE, which is for Hispanics, for Latinos and Latinas, the like the feeling of talking with these people was like completely different. Like talking with people that you understand and relate to is like completely different, which is great. I don't know if you guys have found any other Hispanics at universities, or even like now if you're working, and how that experience has been when you kind of relate to them rather than just talking with your other roommates that are maybe from the US or other countries.
Well, I can go first. For me, it has been such a different experience because like everybody I'm working at work, everybody is from here, the United States. So thinking in Spanish and then talking in English, it has been such a struggle, but it has been challenging and interesting. Like I live with someone that's from here, from Virginia, so she knows everything about the place. So I'm just lost and in a bit of confusion. I always try to find some Latinos in the area because it's good to have like your people and everything. So it has been a little bit difficult because like it's different and it's so new, but it has been such interesting journey just to like thinking in a language and speaking in the other.
So in my case, I was lucky to be in Texas, where even though there's not many Puerto Ricans, there's only three Puerto Rican people, sorry, in my program. But there's a lot of Mexican students that at least I get to like speak Spanish and eat Latino foods, and there's more of a Latino environment.
For me, when I first arrived here, I started missing speaking Spanish with someone. So I would, it's a funny story, I would go to the Mexican supermarket just to hear some conversations in Spanish because I was really longing for that interaction in person of speaking my language. Thankfully, after classes started, I met one of my office space holders. He is from Ecuador and he's doing his master's. So it's nice to have him that has lived here before and knows all the references in Spanish. So it's been great getting to know him. But yeah, there's not many Latino peoples that I have met. I know there are here, but few. But I am eager to meet more Latinos to grow our community here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I was most surprised when I first came to the US is I moved to South Dakota, Brooklyn, South Dakota, really to like the middle of nowhere. It's very not very populated or anything. And there were still people from South and Central America over there. So and most places I've been, there's always some people from Latin America, which is crazy to think about. My roommate was also from Colombia. Then I had three roommates from Brazil. Like I said, there was a girl from Argentina, another girl from Brazil, Honduras. There was so many people from South America, which was crazy in this little town of like 20,000 people in the middle of South Dakota. Um, but which is great. It helped me transition in that culture and made the transition from Colombia to the US a little easier. A question I have for the three of you is: what does it mean to be a Latina in STEM? I know um, Latinas are definitely underrepresented in STEM. I think Hispanics as a whole are underrepresented in STEM, but Latinas more so. and maybe some of the things you are doing with girls in civil to change that mindset and help other women succeed in their careers.
Well, I would like to start with saying that we as Latina tend to be very resilient. We all had to overcome a lot of obstacles to get to the places we're currently at, and by overcoming those obstacles, we gain life experience and learn these life lessons that we can later apply to our professional lives in STEM.
For me, I think being a Latina in STEM means breaking stereotypes and embracing our culture and applying it to the professional world. So it also means that we can be girls in civil and girls in general in the STEM field an example for future generations of Latina girls and help them navigate through their careers. It just means being proud of your heritage, your history, yourself, and showing it to the world through what you do and what you love to do.
Yeah, I can relate with both of the responses with them. Like, for me, it means having a voice, being in a space that you feel like you belong here. So we as girls in civil, we like to find that place for everybody and to like share everything that you're not alone in this space, because obviously we have passed some type of stereotype, comment, or action to overcome that. It makes them like stronger, persistent. So as girls in civil, we like to share that like you're not alone here. You have like something like we always like to do and share posts with different Latinas that are doing something related to the construction, or maybe just like a special day. And I'm always going to be proud to say that I'm a Latina civil engineer.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And something I talked about in last week's episode was the importance of really like being proud of where we're coming from. Like I know sometimes as Hispanics we kind of shy away from telling people that we're from Puerto Rico or Colombia or wherever we're coming from, just because of the fear of like what they're gonna think about us, or the fear of like maybe if they think I'm not enough to be in this organization or this committee or whatever it is. But in reality, and the numbers show that like Hispanics in STEM are changing the way the entire STEM field, and we are growing in number and in percentage in terms of people that are interested in STEM and people that are actually going into STEM. Something we need to change is people leaving STEM, because there's still quite a bit of Hispanics that are leaving STEM for various circumstances. But it's always great to see other Hispanics and other Latinos and Latinas just sharing their stories and really like being proud of where they're coming from and what they're doing. Because I don't know for you, but for me it's really hard to, whenever I get an award or something, kind of share that with everyone. It just feels a little strange to do that, um, just because of my background, my experiences and everything. But I think that's something that I'm trying to do differently here on the podcast, and I know you guys are doing a lot of great things with the Instagram page and everything you're doing. And it's just something to really highlight and show other people that it's okay to feel proud of yourself. It's okay to share your accomplishments and understand that we're doing great things in STEM overall. So I really appreciate that, and that's something that really attracted me to the page. And just being honest with people when you're doing great, when you're not doing so great with everything, is just highlighting everything you're doing. Um, what do you think it's important to have a wide variety of people in STEM? I know Hispanics are only about, I think it was like 15% of the STEM workforce. I know that's growing, but what is the importance of maybe having a more balance between all the cultures and all the backgrounds in STEM?
Okay, well, I think the diversity in STEM basically guarantees an inclusive solution. Diversity really promotes different opinions, and different opinions are heard, and they manage to start a conversation. And this conversation can come from people from various backgrounds that have, have faced different life experience, and we can like actually look for solutions that will impact everybody, not just like a certain group of people. Um, and basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think I concur with what Charmeli said, and building a little bit on what she mentioned, STEM is such a broad field that impacts the well being of so many peoples in so many different ways. So it is definitely important that our field also embodies that broad reaching the diversity, because when it doesn't, we can experience the consequences. And that is the important part. For example, in our field of civil engineering, when infrastructure is not designed by a diverse group of professionals, we can see those consequences in the infrastructure, like maybe sidewalks and walkways that are not comfortable for people with limited mobility. Maybe they don't have a ramp or are not wide enough to accommodate their needs. So that is mainly the importance of having diverse opinions, diverse backgrounds, because all of that knowledge that each person has brings something important to the decision making process, and that decisions affect many lives, not just ours. So that is why it is crucial to have diversity in not just STEM, every field.
Well,
Mhm.
for me, it's also by like having everybody included in the area. Like it doesn't matter where do you come from, or even like what you speak. It's we're all like gonna give something important, have a good opinion about something. It's to feel like you're saying to be proud of where we're coming. So for me it's really really important, and as many of us feel proud of it, more people are gonna follow our steps. So obviously as girls in civil we love to share it and to feel that empowerment to others.
Yeah, and something that comes to mind is just like we as civil engineers, and all of the three of you are civil engineers. We are designing everything for people. So if we have diverse people designing for the diversity of the people that we have here in the United States or other parts of the world, we're gonna meet the needs of those people easier than if there was just one group designing for a wide variety of people at the same time. So having Hispanics, having Black people, white, Asian, all these different cultures in STEM, designing for these specific cultures, it's gonna feel our needs easier than if there was just white people designing everything and not taking into account like the culture and the preferences of these people, and it just something that I think just makes sense in terms of some stuff of STEM. Um, how are you guys celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month? You guys are doing anything special that
We
you want
are
to share with
celebrating
everyone?
Hispanic Heritage Month by using our platform to basically raise our voice and give visibility to so many women within different fields of STEM, especially civil engineering and construction, by listening, learning, and sharing their experiences. Because we believe that empowering Latinas and women in general in the civil engineering, construction, civil works, trades works field, and supporting them is really important. So we are trying to get those stories, learn from them, and share them so that people can see that we are here, we are present in this STEM field, and we are not going away anytime soon. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and I think a lot of people are doing the same, just sharing kind of the stories of other people doing great things. I've seen a lot of people sharing just posts and videos and podcast episodes on Instagram and everywhere, and I think it's just an opportunity for all of us to connect more. I know this is the first time I'm talking to the three of you, just finding new connections, finding new people, and just interacting with them. Do you guys have any advice for other women engineering and anything else you want to share with us?
Well, one of the books we really recommend for women in STEM is Community. This recommendation, it comes by one of our board members. Her name is Laura, and basically the books, it really teaches people how to embrace projects with communities, and she always recommends it because it teaches you how to work in different environments and different projects in collaborative I don't know if I said that right, collaborative environment, and enriches your experiences. And our leader, one of our board members, Sophia, she also loves this book called She Engineers. It's a book about women in engineering, and it really helps you feel empowered and embraces you as that you are not doing this alone. That there's a lot of other women engineers in the world going through things that you are going through. So it's a really good read. And one more that I would like really like to mention is one that's actually it's been helping me through this whole process, and it's called Make Your Bed. The book is basically about mini habits you can have to improve your lifestyle and achieve small things. It's not exactly about STEM, but it helps you achieve or fulfill your goals inside of the STEM world. And it's really good for personal accomplishment because by doing small tasks and little things, for example, making your bed every morning, you get to feel accomplished and um, gain this confidence to do more small things through your day, and those small things become big things at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just want to add before the two of you answer the question too is She Engineer is an amazing book. I know Stephanie have been helping her with some comedies and just have connected in the past. I read the book and I think it's an amazing book both for men and women. Uh, for men, just to realize their unconscious bias. That I know there was a few that they're unconscious because you don't even realize you're doing them. So by reading them and understanding them, I think you can overcome them and like work a little bit more on that. So again, this is an amazing book. I've read that book in the past and really, really recommend it. Do you two want to
Um, yeah.
answer the same question?
So my go-to advice for women and Latinas in STEM is just always do it. If you're thinking about it, just go for it. If you're scared, do it while afraid, uh, because in the end, you cannot close yourself the door to opportunity because you're afraid. You always have to go for it no matter what. Because if you are really passionate about something you're doing and you really love that, the fear will go away and everything eventually will be okay. You will find people along the way who will support you, who would advise you, who will mentor you, and eventually that little decision that you, when you think back and think, what if I wouldn't have done that because I was scared, it will just make everything more rewarding. So that will be my advice, to just do it, because we are Latinos, we can do anything. So um but yeah, also many recommendations is to just be looking, searching, and studying. Not it is doesn't even have to be like academic. Um, just learning something new about life, about the profession, something small can be very helpful and beneficial to you. And also, now that since COVID, we have seen many platforms emerging, providing digested information of very different topics, just like we are doing here at Girls in Civil. That is a really good way to get food for thought, food for your brain, and really join in the conversation.
Yes, that is amazing. I love that answer. For me, I would also recommend that, like, it's not gonna be easy. We're gonna have to overcome a lot of things right now, but it's so worth it. Like, waking up every day and doing something that you really like and that you feel empowered by it. It's another like kind of feeling. So I will recommend you that since the beginning of your maybe when you're studying or your career, to keep learning everything that you can, because we're always going to be students in life. So I would recommend that, and not to like burn ourselves with a lot of like our thoughts, and I'm not gonna be good at it or not, just to, like Gabriela said, like just do it and keep on doing it, because as I said, it's gonna be so rewarding at the end, and we're gonna be so excited. You're gonna be so excited when you see yourself as the engineer that you're always gonna like have in your mind.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And I know, like I said at the beginning, we as Hispanics sometimes are shy about like um, sharing our successes and highlighting other people. But at the same time, I think we're also really hard workers and very resilient to everything that comes our way. And one way or another, I think we always kind of figure out at the end. So that's something that I always learned in my career. Something that we also talked about in a previous episode is the power of just mentoring, having people that you admire, just follow them on social media. I encourage everyone to follow Girls in Civil. Just finding people online that are doing similar things that maybe you want to do in the future. I think that's very important, because when I was in school, I didn't really relate to anyone either on social media or around me, just because my background was so different. But as you start poking around social media, following the right people, just start finding and networking with a lot of great people that are doing similar things. And I think that's kind of the one of the huge benefits of social media overall. I just have one last question for the three of you, and that's how can we continue engineering our future?
Well, I think we first have to decide what kind of future we want to build on. If we want to just adapt to the problems we're facing and engineer for that, or if we want to go ahead and solve the problems with creative and use our ingenuity since we're engineers,
Mhm.
and go ahead and learn from the mistakes of our past generations, because we as humans have never don't we're not perfect, and we have a history of learning from our mistakes. So I would say learn from our mistakes, know what we want to our future to look like, and then go ahead and be creative and build upon it.
Yeah, for me, it's like I said, it's continue to being a student and learn from each other and our environment. Because since the civil engineers, we're gonna be building for something in our future. So we want to learn how we can help and how we can like take care of each other and just build for something better, not to like Charmaine said, to do some that like the same mistakes.
Mhm.
So, and also it's like having this like community like this, where you can share your experience and you can inspire others individuals to pursue this exciting path, and this exciting path is helping like society grow. So for me, it's just like that, and to really have that kind of experience and sharing it with
I
others.
agree with what Jean Marie said. We can continue engineering our future by being mindful of ourselves, others, and the environment. I think it's a big part of generating change and building a solid foundation for the future. And that has a lot to do with continuing our growth as professionals, but also helping others along their path. I think that this way we can be innovators and engineer a better and more inclusive future for all.
Yeah, those are great answers. I ask this question to everyone that comes here to the podcast. I'm always fascinated just by all the answers and just very insightful responses from everyone. So again, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. This was a lot of fun. Like I told you, this first time I have more than a couple guests on the show, but I think we got to figure out, and it was just great talking to all of you. Where can people find you online? Reach out to you if you have more questions. If you want to join the Girls in Civil community or anything else online.
Yes, we can always, you can find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram as Girls and Civil. And we have like an open policy. Any like anybody can write to us, doesn't matter a girl, boy, or you're in STEM or not. We're just open to have the people like have where you can just like be open and share your experience, or maybe ask something. You can like write us and we'll be totally like open about it. If we don't know, we're gonna look for someone else that knows about it. So we're so thankful to be here. We're so excited about it, so thank you.
Yeah, I that's a great point. Like you don't really need to know everything. You just have to have the right network and contacts. And I tell a lot of people that, like, reach out to anyone. If they don't know, they're probably going to point in the right direction. So great advice to end this episode, and thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.